well. So we've just finished filming the
What's Hot in Tucson?
What's Hot in Tucson? What will come out on video sometime next spring, early summer.
Exactly.
But we're going to look at just a few pieces here for a new segment that Brian's doing, which is What's Hot in Tucson Live. So
this is going to get to you
right away within the next few days. So you can still get on the airplane ticket and get here in Tucson.
You can still come to Tucson and see these pieces. They're on display.
They're on display.
Yeah, and the weather's beautiful.
With any luck, warmer. 2 or 3 of them may still be left.
That's right, with any luck. We're going to focus on a couple of pieces in this showcase that Peter really likes. One is this azurite from Milpillas, this giant blade. It's broaching 10 centimeters across, and it's got a beautiful blue color with just...
Oh, it's beautiful electric blue, big and single. It's probably the biggest single crystal of quality I've seen.
And it's all crystallized on the bottom. That's why we've created this clutch mount that holds it up and suspends it, because we don't want to bury it into the lucite, so you can actually see all of the bottom terminations there, and it's got that awesome geometry that just goes all the way around. It's a beautiful crystal, and I love how it's concave, so that's a great object.
It really catches the light. That concavity really it's like a solar oven that's collecting the light.
Exactly. And then this mango quartz we wanted to talk about because the aesthetics are just startling, just to have that radiating in every direction with the yellow tips and the real clear crystals. There's a lot of variety that come from this location in Colombia with the differences of saturation of the yellows I'm sure you've seen. And
how much yellow there is from just a little titch like this to almost complete.
And for me, what makes them is the aesthetics. The ones that I'm choosing to buy and represent are ones that have ultimate, just impossible aesthetics like this one, and that's one of the great examples. So that's here in Tucson. And then this is something that I really had a fun time with.
This is such a cool story.
This is a great story. So I went to visit a collector in Italy not too long ago, and when I was at his home, I was looking at his whole collection. He has a huge collection set up on display, and he just happened to have this sitting out on a table. And it's a plate from a plate book that I haven't been able to identify yet. I'm hoping to be able to identify it sometime in the near future. And it has the description, and it also had the color plate. And I was just sort of like glancing around, looking at, because I also collect antiquarian books and scientific instruments that are mineralogically based, and obviously minerals. And I looked at this, and I was like, wait a minute, I know that object. I own that object. I was like, that's my object. That's my silver. And it didn't click why, because so then I started shuffling through it and I'm studying it and I'm looking at it, and it's number one, dendrite d'argento, so that, dendrites of silver, native silver, the Schwarzwald. And I'm like, Schwarzwald?
Black Forest.
And I'm like, it's the Black Forest, exactly, in Germany. And I was like, but this is my piece. And so this was sold to me, and here you can see it. And this is like, we can literally put it over it, and you can see.
It's like they used one of those photographic transfer devices to mirror the image onto the paper, and then that may be what they did, but it's absolutely life-size.
Yeah, exactly.
Very faithful reproduction.
Yeah, it's extremely faithful reproduction, which is surprising. And I don't know if it was brighter then, or they were just using light so that you could really see it. But obviously the patina probably got darker over time. But it's just a wonderful example of history and mineralogy together. And for me, that was such a fun find. And I was told it was Russian. And the next thing I know, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not. And so now I'm like hunting down more information about it, and I'm trying to find, where this history leads and what book this is, so that I can get a copy of the book actually and know more information about when it was printed. I'm guessing it was right around the turn of the century, probably late 1800s or early 1900s, because that's sort of what this feels like from what I know of antiquarian books. But until I know, I don't know. So.
And if anyone out there happens to have one of these two specimens at home,
I'm really interested.
Daniel would love to hear from you.
I would love to know if you have this copper or if you have this gold. This is I believe three is.
Is that gold or silver?
It's a silver. It's a silver.
But that's a gold. That's a dodecahedral gold crystal.
The dodecahedral crystal, crystal, and they write up. It's an interesting thing. Here they say crystal isolated of ore from California in the form of a rhombododecaedron. Or granataedro. I don't know.
They're saying basically a garnetahedron.
A garnetahedron, yeah. And I mean, it's super cool that that's Californian.
Yep.
So a lot of fun, aspect of collecting minerals is the history that goes along with it that not a lot of people get to learn about when they're looking at beautiful minerals in cases. And so this for me was really a fun experience.
Which is why you should document your crystals now, so that in 100 years somebody can be amazed at putting your specimen back with your documentation.
Absolutely.
If the two got separated.
Yeah, that's important. Provenance is a great thing to do. And it also elevates the psychological value of the pieces when you know the history, where they came from, when they were found, all of that, which collectors handled them. It adds a component that not only adds value, but it adds interest, and it makes them more than just the objects they are. So I love that.
Me too. And I love
Great to
this.
see you,
Great
Peter.
to see you, Daniel.
Yeah,
Always
absolutely.
a pleasure.
Mine too. Thank you. Bye.